Yo guys, what is good? Welcome back on the Uncle Sharma channel. How you guys doing? Here for the international break. You know what time it is. Not much going on in terms of football. We Interista obviously needed this break, but it does. If you haven't got any plans made over the weekend, it can get a little bit boring. There's not even other like F1 stuff or anything else going on. So yeah, this is the depression that sometimes the international break can bring, but we've got loads of stuff always with Inter. There's never an off day if you're covering Inter, supporting Inter. So that's what we're here to do today. And I'm not expecting many people to be coming through today on this Sunday afternoon here in the UK. Kind of a cloudy Sunday here in the UK. But let me know who's in the house. Who are the 4 people? It shows at the moment for me that there's 4 people here in the house. So give me a quick comment so I can give you a quick little shout out to appreciate your presence as we speak. And yeah, you can see the topics that we're going to cover today underneath scrolling by. Curva Nord finally speaking out against Steven ZHANG. We'll cover that. We'll cover obviously Javier Zanetti was interviewed at a festival of sports. There's a Gazzetta set up a festival type event where Zanetti was interviewed. So we'll go through his words, see how our boys are doing on international break, some of the players that are playing for the national teams, and more Steven ZHANG / Suning related news of some creditors, some debt that is coming towards they want their money back. So yeah, let me give a shout out to who is in the house. Anti-Juice123, what's up, brother? Not seeing your name around too much on the live stream, so shout out to you if you are new. Apologies if you are not. Someone to know what 60 of CN69 means. I have no clue, bro, Alan. I have no clue what it means. Maybe someone in the chat can help you with that, but I'm not very familiar with the Curva Nord in terms of the history and things like that. Like I'm not really sure what that name is. I don't know if that's I don't know if they're just being dirty, 69, or is it like maybe they were formed in 69. So I don't really know how that name came about. So yeah, sorry, I can't help you on that one. And by the way, Curva Nord isn't like the only. It's like probably the most well-known organized inter-tifo group and loudest, of course, especially at the stadium. But there's lots of other supporter groups out there, but obviously the most famous one is Curva Nord, and obviously the most loud one, which is why when they do something, usually it comes in the news. Eduardo, hermano, what's up, brother? Good to see you, bro. Good to see you. Thank you for coming through as always. Always active in the Discord group chat as well. Nerazuri NL in the house. What's up, bro? Mattia, my guy, my brate. How's it going? Rick Stole, Zanga, I love you. Wow. I don't know if you're a Inter fan or you must be maybe, I don't know if you're a Milan fan. I'm not seeing many Inter fans saying those words for a while. I haven't heard those words for sure. Hey, King Darian in the house, always one of the regulars, of course. And Ashwin, my brother, how's it going? Hope you guys, both of you guys up in the Caribbean ends, hope you guys are doing well. There you go. Eduardo has done the quick wiki search for us. So it's the Interista group, most the oldest and important. The boys' son, fondato so made in 1969. So there it is. There is Eduardo giving us the knowledge. So yeah, it makes sense. That's what I was guessing 69 stands for. Emiliano coming in with the hashtag ZHANG out. That's definitely gaining traction. And yeah, on that note, let's get straight into the Curva Nord. So they released a statement, but very simple. I won't get into the full statement, but I'll get into what the visuals that they've come out with. That's what I used in the thumbnail. So they've used very simple wording in Italian, which is ZHANG vattene, and they've kind of done like a tour of Milan with this banner. So I don't know if these are multiple banners, the same banner that they're taking around Milan and taking pictures. But look at here, just outside the Inter HQ, Inter headquarters, right outside there. Then this is, around Milan. This is in front of the Duomo, and there's a few other ones that the few pictures they literally did a tour of Milan to kind of maybe show that it's kind of the whole city wants you out, or it's like a citywide type of movement from the Curva Nord. It's not just a thing they're trying to kind of show, like it's make it a stronger statement rather than just be like one picture, one banner. And yeah, let's see what happens with this. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't know how much the Curva Nord has, if Steven ZHANG even going to look at this, is even going to take notice of this, how much impact this would have. But it's a strong statement because Curva Nord has spoken out against Steven ZHANG and Suning in the past, but it's been more around transfer window related things. So it's like, when the Hakimi thing happened, when the Lukaku thing happened, there were, little signs and posters around into HQ. But so it was like, it would happen, but around when things were happening where we weren't happy about. But this is like, nothing with this transfer windows closed. Obviously, things on the pitch are not going well. So this feels like it's a little bit, not out of the blue, because obviously we know there's a lot of things that are going wrong. But the timing of this, after Inter almost kind of semi-officially have come out that they're on sale, finally announcing that ZHANG was out traveling in the USA. They say it's for personal reasons, family reasons, but to me it doesn't particularly sound like family reasons. I think there could be more to that behind that. And yeah, this is, I think, the Curva Nord's way of trying to put pressure on Steven ZHANG and family to sell Inter. ZHANG Vatene means ZHANG go away. Very, very simple, not particularly poetic or anything in terms of wording, but it does the job. It does what it says on the tin. ZHANG get out. So they released a statement on their official Facebook, which is the Urlo, go away, Urlo della Nord, if you want to check them out on Facebook. That's where they talk about their, what they're going to do and their meetings and stuff like that. And yeah, that's what they talked about it. They had like a meeting. They have this weekly meeting, which apparently anyone of us can go. I don't think you don't have to be actually a member of the Curva Nord to go. Apparently these days it's not like it's a bit more open. I think back in, they used to have a bit of a reputation, Curva Nord, to be, the ultras, a little bit extreme and, closed club. Apparently anyone can go into that. They go to particular bar near San Siro where they have this weekly meeting where they, talk about things, plan things. And yeah, this is where they decided that they're going to go for this kind of approach. So yeah, I mean, we've been kind of asking, where is Curva Nord, because there's so much going on, and we've not really, especially in the summer, for some reason we didn't really see or hear much from Curva Nord. So I guess it's kind of about time, because I think at the moment, usually, I don't always agree with Curva Nord, but I think on this case, most of us are. We've been on saying like ZHANG, Suning, it's time to go. So I do kind of agree with the statement, and I think it is about time. The Curva came out with this stance. Ahmad in the house, what's up, brother? Very weird timing of the Curva stance. It came out of nowhere. As you tweeted, something is definitely cooking. Yeah, that's my feeling in general, that something is definitely cooking in the back. No, I'm not saying that the Curva Nord knows, behind the scenes of what's going on at Inter, but the timing of it, from what's come out in the last couple of days, is the fact that the reason why they may have put this statement up is because apparently, and again, this has not been confirmed. A lot of these rumors and stuff are not confirmed in the media, but apparently there was another offer made. And again, this goes back to what I was saying, him being Steven ZHANG being in the USA, which is, for me, I've said, is probably the most likely buyer of Inter will be American based. And apparently he rejected another offer this past week. So Curva Nord, the timing of it might be due to that, because the fact that if it's true because here, as Tutto Sport says, again, not a great source, Tutto Sport at all, especially related to Inter stuff. But the Ultras group are very angry that the ownership have not been accepting offers for the sale of the club that they deem to be acceptable. It is known that Steven ZHANG has set the asking price of 1.2 billion, which is much more than anyone has offered yet. As we know, it is believed that no potential buyer has thought about going above 1 billion. Yeah, I don't think anyone's even got near 1 billion. The approval of the new stadium project is part of why Suning feels that such a huge asking price is justified, but it does not seem that any offer of that amount is coming anytime soon. Shock. The fans are tired of the financial hardships that are impacting the players on the pitch. Again, amen. Of course, we know that this is affecting us as fans, but of course affecting our players and of course affecting our performances on the pitch. So again, that points to me in terms of what the timing of this Curva Nord statement. So, and yeah, I think it probably is true. It probably is true. Again, I keep saying Inter have been on sale for over a year, guys. I didn't see the big deal about Inter being, the Goldman Sachs thing the other day, because the Goldman Sachs mandate has been around for a year, but no one just gets close to the asking price. There's nothing. Inter have been on sale, and yeah, as Matthias says, we can't hope for anything in the future until we change ownership. That's since July 2020 or whenever was it, when Conte said, after the Europa League final, that the project is over or the project has stalled. That's when, that should have been the moment where Inter needed to get new owners, that moment. So this is overdue by 2 years and it's still dragging on. And we're going to continue stagnating like this if things don't change. Arnaud, as I've just said, I think it will most likely be American firm because of the recent history of Italian football. You've seen Genoa's owners, Atalanta's new owners, Milan's new owners, and previous owners. Who else? Spezia, Parma, Fiorentina, Roma. So I think, but I think in a couple of years we'll probably have a majority American-owned Serie A, and it looks like these American firms and investment firms are the ones that are seeing the value in buying these Italian clubs at the moment. So yeah, that's my opinion on it. Of course, in an ideal world, we want the bankrolling Arabs with the blank checks to come in. But we're just not an attractive league at the moment for those types of people. Rick's told 2 scenarios. One, they informed that ZHANG won't sell soon, or they informed that he will sell soon, so they want to ride the wave to say to the Curva Nord have its touch to have in that decision. Yeah, that could be also due to it. But again, I don't really know that Curva Nord would have such an inside information on those types of ongoings at the club. To me, it does definitely point to something cooking in the background. But again, if it's true that he's rejected this offer, then there's definitely a pressure move to kind of just say, like, come on, yeah, we don't want you here anymore. They should have seen this coming. We lost the championship because of them. Yeah. I mean, in the end, I think we could have, we could have won that Scudetto regardless of Suning, which would have been, a great achievement as well. But definitely now, in terms of the stagnation, is definitely their fault for 100%. If new property comes in the next month, then it is the second. Yeah, probably it is. ZHANG are the main root of the issues. They have no idea what they're doing. Yeah. Problem of the price is the debt ZHANG has. Those 2 credits are way too high, makes the market value. Yeah, exactly. We've been talking about it. It's like you buy into the long-term bond is not so much of an issue, even though, like, it sounds bad. It's like a 450 or 400 million, the long-term bond that Inter renewed recently as well. That one is kind of like a long-term thing that you can keep kind of renewing, renegotiating and stuff like that. Like a lot of clubs are run using bonds and long-term debt like that. But the short-term one, the Oak Tree one, the 275 million euros, whatever it was, that's the worrying one. That's the, you have to pay it back by 2024. There's no renegotiating. There's no leeway. There's high percentage of 12% rate. Like, it's absolutely crazy. Like, that's a shock. That's a loan shock deal what the oak tree gave to Inter, and that shows how desperate Inter was Suning were to get that loan in. So that's a short term, liability debt that is this. But at the same time, they've taken that out not against Inter, they've taken it out on their own shares of Inter. So like, but then Oak Tree themselves have said they don't want to do what Elliot did. They don't want to take over Inter. They're not looking to do that. So it's in the best interest of Oak Tree as well, which is why Oak Tree have also been trying to help Inter to find a buyer. But yeah, it's not an attractive proposition buying this Inter club. And this stadium situation is really what probably will push. But that keeps dragging on, as we know. Like, that's why I'm not even speaking about it. I saw some people in my last few videos have been commenting, like, can you talk about the stadium stuff? And I'm just like, I made a video last year where everything said like, yeah, the cathedral project has been approved, the new stadium design project, everything around is approved. But then, as usual, massive red tape and bureaucracy and blocks have come into the way. So until it actually is properly confirmed, I'm not even gonna speak about it in terms of what's gonna happen with the stadium stuff. But that's what ZHANG is banking on. He's banking on the stadium thing, because as soon as that gets officially 100% approved, that will increase the value of it. Or actually, the 1 billion plus value actually makes sense, because then you have that potential massive asset coming in for Inter as a club long term. But until then, I just don't see who would pay that. And Milan, their debt situation was much better when they've just been bought out recently, so that made them a little bit more attractive. So he's looking at the Milan sale. He's like, my cousins across the pitch, across the field, across the road have got 1.3 million or 1.3 billion for their sale. So he's kind of using that as the benchmark now, because apparently before it was, I remember last year when they were talking BC Partners, they were talking that he wants 900 million, and there was talk of 1 billion. Now it's 1.2 billion. So it keeps going up, this asking price, and that's gonna it's gonna keep putting people off. How much of a miss, Marcello? Not much. We've been going for 17 minutes. Yeah, we're just talking about the ZHANG situation, the Suning situation, and the Curva Nord statement. So yeah, just not too much. What did they do with the Lukaku and Kimmich? I thought it was paying for the Oak Tree loan. Not really. You can't take out money of the club like that. Like, you can't take out money from the club. And they haven't. Like, there's not been any proof or shows of the Suning family taking money out of Inter over the last few years. So it's just they're basically trying to run the club self-sufficiently. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get the losses down back to like the pre-pandemic level, which is what they have to do now for the UEFA financial fair play as well, to like minus 50, minus 60 million per year. So they're just literally, because they can't inject any liquidity into the club, so they have to try run the club literally on those plusvalenzas and those capital gains. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to run the club without putting a penny in, which they actually can't as well, because they can't export capital from China to Italy. But yeah, there's so many variety of factors which just point to they just need to sell. I read an article that Milan Inter will push until Christmas, then the site will move to Sesto San Giovanni. Yeah, the Sesto San Giovanni has been the backup plan all along. And to be honest, they should have made that the main plan all along, because that one seems to have much less, because the San Siro has so much red tape and bureaucracy around it, because they don't want to demolish an historic landmark like San Siro, the stadium, the Meazza Stadium. The demolition of it, the cost of it, the environmental impacts of it. Whereas Sesto San Giovanni is like an empty area just outside of Milan, which is just ready to go. And And yeah, I can see that probably being in the end probably going to have to go. So they've gone. I think they're going to do like a public debate over the San Siro decision. So they're going to ask like local people and local council and like make a public debate to come to a final decision. But yeah, they need to make a decision on that quickly. Do I see a light at the end of the tunnel for us? I don't know, Mattia. Like I can't predict whether someone's gonna buy us or not. Like that, it all depends on that. Like I thought, like that's my thinking is at the moment. All the timing of everything that's going on. It seems like there must be some sort of negotiation going on in the background into becoming more public with their sale. The Goldman Sachs Monday being made public once again. And yeah, I've been saying in general, like Inter are on sale anyway, but it's just I can't predict whether someone will get close to the asking price. But yeah, no, but the thing is, RDP, I wouldn't even say that with Zhang and Suning. Like they've invested close to like almost $1 billion in Inter. Like they do care, but it's just that their hands are tied at the moment. Like for the last 2 years, since the pandemic, since the Chinese block, they literally physically, like even if they wanted to, well, they could use the Oak Tree loan to inject that, but they haven't touched most of that money. But they physically can't, invest in Inter. So it's not even about caring about Inter. If anything, Zhang is showing a little bit too much care about Inter. He should be a bit more cold-blooded about even taking a loss on this investment. Like the whole reason why they came to buy Inter was also, to increase when they came, they increased their exposure, make Suning more famous, like the company, the name, the Zhang name, like that reputation, that brand awareness. Like there's all those other factors that they bought Inter for, to become the first Chinese-owned Italian team to ever win the Scudetto, which they did. All that kind of stuff. But he just needs to cut his loss. He just needs to cut the loss, like at the moment. The same with Abramovich. What he at the end, his hands were tied. Like imagine if Abramovich had to keep the club with the situation going on, but he was forced into selling it. Suning they've injected a lot of money into Inter over the years, but at some point recently is just they have not been able to, mainly, but also their financial situation themselves is not looking good, so they probably don't want to anymore. So it's kind of true, but I would say that actually, like Steven Zhang, I feel like, because he's the son, this is like his side, I guess, hobby, because I don't think he's taken over the Suning business empire yet from his dad. So this is like his like kind of fun project he's been given by his daddy Zhang. But he needs to let go. He just needs to like understand that it's time to let go. Like I don't know what he's maybe hoping for the Chinese government to alleviate some of the restrictions. I don't know. He just needs to understand that it's time to just let it go. And there's other factors that make it even worse at the moment, which is creditors. The creditors are chasing Zhang as well. So from China, so he's all the way. They've come all the way to Milan. Some of the Chinese creditors that he owes money to. So the Nerazzurri president, in the lawsuit brought by some Chinese bank, intending to recover $255 million of loans and a defaulting obligation that it guaranteed. Zhang claimed that he had not signed the documents and was not aware of the refinancing, but having not filed an appeal, the executive actions of the sentence of last July were activated. So they're actually these companies that are coming, these creditors are actually saying that because Zhang as a president should be he's so as a president like of the club, you usually you don't get paid like a salary, but you get paid compensations for being the president. But apparently Zhang has said like a few years ago that he doesn't want to get any compensation for being the president of Inter. But according to these Chinese creditors, they're saying that he still has received compensation from Inter for being the president, and they want that money that he's supposed to be owed by, or he's given by Inter to be given to them. So the first hearing is set for March 2023, and the China Construction Bank, one of the 4 large public banks in Beijing, with which Great Matrix Limited, a company, closed the operation wholly owned by Stephen ZHANG himself. So yeah, he's denying all of this. His defense reiterated that the signatures on the refinancing guarantee documents were forged and that he was not aware of the financing. But yeah, obviously, I don't know what's the truth is, what is not. But of course, again, more pressure that should really be convincing this guy to sell, because he has other things to focus on at the moment. You know, the business, the core business is not going too well. All these creditors that are chasing him, they should all really be pointing towards one direction, which is selling the club. But it still seems to be not convincing him. Like, he's still holding out for that 1.2 billion. And another news here from Fabio Alampi on FC Inter 1908. Again, similar to what we were talking about earlier, they're still looking for maybe a minority partner to inject liquidity into the club, but no one's going to do that. Who's going to come in to be a minority part of Inter, like a business that loses money, and inject their own capital? Because obviously Suning can't inject theirs. Like, who's going to be doing that? No one's going to do that. And of course, on the other hand, there's also the awareness of completely selling Inter to an offer that's deemed appropriate. But the sale is just not happening at the moment, as it says here. External criticalities that inevitably slow down any type of operation, and the Azzurri club has a very expensive price tag, an estimate that certainly takes its cue from the recent sale of Milan, as I said earlier, and which obviously does not motivate huge investments, especially if you don't own your own stadium. And yeah, the other issues that we just talked about, the creditors chasing him. So yeah, like, there's so many factors that all point to, come on, bro, just sell the club. But he's not doing it. But we'll see. Hopefully some developments happens. As I said, to me, things at the moment that are happening are pointing towards something cooking, something happening. But again, I don't know if anyone will get close to the asking price. Like, I just hope the pressure, especially in China as well. Like, there's some stuff going on in China recently as well. Like, there's even more pressure now of stopping any. Like, the thing is, guys, I've talked about this in the past. Similarly to what happened to Abramovich with the whole Ukraine-Russia situation, if China invade Taiwan, or they do something, Taiwan, similarly to like the Russia-Ukraine situation, like, there's something similar could happen. Like, Chinese businesses could be completely boycotted. The Italian government could say what, the English government did to Abramovich. They could just say, no, you're not allowed to operate in this country anymore. We take your visa, we take your anything. Like, you're not allowed to come here anymore. You just have to sell the club. Like, that could be another catastrophic situation. But at the same time, that maybe it actually forces him to sell at a loss. But that's definitely not something we like. The geopolitical position, especially with China, Russia, like the East versus West situation at the moment, like, geopolitically speaking, is not looking good. So there's so many factors that point to ZHANG having to sell. So I just hope all of these factors in the end do pressurize him. Curva Nord, us fans, the situation, the on-pitch, for everything just kind of working in hand to hand to kind of bring this Suning era to a conclusion at Inter. And again, I'm appreciative of the work they did when they took over from Tahir, but when it's time to go, it's time to go, guys. It's time to go. Yeah, Bruno, we are down bad at the moment. It's so frustrating, guys, because we were in our project. We were literally, we went ahead of Milan in our project, but then we probably overspent under Conte. The Conte project was way too expensive. And then obviously the COVID hit us, pandemic, plus Suning's issues, plus the Chinese stuff, that hit us even harder. And then now somehow we've ended up being behind their project once again. Like, it's so frustrating. Like, we were there potentially ready for like a long-term project of going on a winning run, and then so frustrating. And that's why that's why last year, guys, remember, if you're on my channel, I was like, we have to win last year's Scudetto. Like, I was just like, if we don't win in last year, I just don't see us winning it anytime soon. And unfortunately, it looks like that way. Because I didn't reveal. Did I do it? I don't think I actually revealed my predictions for the season, but I once again, I put Inter to finish third this season at the beginning of the season before the Mercato ended. Not that we did too much towards the end anyway, we just got a Cherby. But I just don't see just the stagnation of this team. It just needed fresh blood, all the stuff going off the pitch. Like I even though you guys know me, I'm usually trying to be a little bit more on the positive side of things, but I just don't see how all the off-pitch stuff can really push this team to win a Scudetto. And unfortunately, that's what it looks like on the pitch. But obviously, I hope, I predicted us actually to finish last year before the season started. I thought all those, the Hakimi, Lukaku loss, the Conte loss, the Oriali loss, I thought it was going to affect us more. But then we saw that the whole level of Serie A isn't that high, and you don't really need too much to be able to compete at the top. But yeah, this season we've really started badly. But I think in the end we should be, challenging again by the end of the season. Yeah, I mean, the De Vrij we've known since last year. I don't think there's going to be any renewal with De Vrij. I think he's just going to have to leave on a free. There wasn't many offers for him, or any offers for him. The Skriniar one obviously is the concerning one. I hope there's talks that they are going to open the contract talk in this international break with his agents and stuff. I hope they do that quickly, because we cannot lose him on a cut price or for free, 100%. ZHANG can become our next Moratti if he sells now. Moratti loves Inter, but he has to sell due to the economic situation. Yeah, even Moratti, you guys know, Moratti really put us in a bad financial situation before he left. Like, as much as we want to clown Tahir, but he had to do a lot of cleaning up from Moratti's era. Financially, we were left in an absolute mess by Moratti's, and he just loved Inter so much, he never even looked at the financial side of things. But Inter could have definitely been run much more efficiently and much better back in those days. But yeah, ZHANG just needs to do that step that Moratti did, and just kind of step aside and see that he can't take Inter anywhere more forward. We're only going to stagnate and go backwards. So yeah, I guess good comparison, Eduardo. Hey Pakiwo, what's up? How's it going? Thanks you for coming through. Ian Kerr, Charles Shams, today is a good day. Yeah, Ian has been one of the most strong soothing out people. Like, I think he posts on Facebook. I don't go on Facebook much, but whenever I go, Ian Kerr's post is always like near the top of my timeline, like hashtag soothing out, and he puts like the day, like he's been soothing out day 620 or something. Like, I'm sure Ian has been soothing out for a long time, so I'm sure he is having or enjoying this. But of course, he only will party when soothing actually leave. So to say, Spurs still very interested. Yeah, Bastoni, of course, they're not going to stop their interest in Bastoni just because we said no to them this summer. And they definitely still need a left centre back. That was one part of their transfer window where they got a long late, but just a loan. So I'm sure Conte would be looking at, and Paratici would be looking at Bastoni once again. And yeah, as always said, I'm not even, out of all the guys, Bastoni, I've never been, not that he's bad as he's being now, but I don't see like him being like, the thing is with Bastoni is more my emotional attachment. Like, I want to see a young Interista staying at Inter forever. But if you get 70-80 million for someone like Bastoni, it's just like, it's hard to say no to that type of money. But the problem is these days, guys, it's the replacement. It's like, who do you bring in? Like, that's the thing with all of the guys. It's like, if you get the right money, I'm not even against selling any of our boys. But the fact is, if you're going to go out there and you have like these Joshko Guardiol and they quote you the same money that you sold Bastoni for, then there's no point. So it's that's the thing. I've never been against apart from Skriniar. Skriniar is like my guy. Like, I just don't want to ever be. I just want him to be like here forever, untouched, and of course, ideally Barella and Bastoni. But to me, I've always said, like, if it's the right price, it makes sense. But the replacement cost these days is absolutely crazy. Like, you go out there, like someone who's had one good season in the Portuguese league, like Darwin Nunez, like 80 million plus, up to 100 million total price. Like, it's crazy. Like, the price is absolutely bonkers. So you think like, okay, you get 70, 80 million for Bastoni, and then you're like, who am I going to get for a replacement? And then people know that you've got this money from Bastoni or whoever you sold, so they're going to even bump up the price even more. So that's the problem at the moment. There's so much, the inflation of prices these days is crazy. Day 405 today. Nice, Ian. Nice. I wonder if he has like a big calendar where he just like just ticks off swinging out day something. Yeah, of course, Kirby. That's the whole point of, like, what I was talking about. Like, it's good, all good, and to make the message, make this big ass banner, but is it actually going to have a effect? Probably not. The ZHANG is going to do what's best for his pocket, as any human being would do, pretty much. It is what it is. No, so Milenkovic was on the other side. So Emil, that was the thing. So the summer, if we sold Skriniar, it would have been Milenkovic and Bremer coming in. So it would have been Bremer, the De Vrij replacement, and then Milenkovic would have been the Skriniar replacement. So that was the whole plan. Milenkovic is right-footed, so for Bastoni, you need a left-footed replacement. So that's why Bastoni's price is so high as well, because he's such a left-footed ball-playing centre-back. Is such a hard profile to find. But then, yeah, when we're trying to buy, that's the problem as well. Left-footed ball-playing centre-back is so hard to find. Hey, we got Mattia in the house as well. Yes, sir. At least the Curva realized the problem. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure everyone realized the problem, but they've actually kind of made a statement. My Facebook memories will be interesting in years to come. Parisi, oh yeah, he's an interesting talent, but again, he's very similar to me in profile to Di Marco. Like, he's very small. Like, and then I don't know about Gosens left centre back, because it's Gosens' best characteristic is his getting into the box. He's not very good in terms of playing out from the back. Yeah, I think that's Abubakar. That's definitely. There's one tweet. Let me see if I can find it. Like, it made a lot of sense in terms of, I personally rate Marotta quite a lot, but I think Beppe Marotta is the guy that you want if you have a project which has money. Like, if you want to be the best team in Italy and you have money, then you go get Beppe Marotta, like we did, a few years ago when Suning came in. But right now, we don't have the most money. We don't have any money. And our project is completely different to what it was before. So, and I don't think Marotta is suited to this type of project, because we know he likes his expensive, high wages, free agents and things like that. Let me see where it was. Yeah, here, this is it. This is a guy called Alessandro Giudice. He's like football finance expert, and I felt like his tweet made a lot of sense. It's like, both Juve and Inter, so a wrong business model, unsustainable, based on expensive purchases. A similar, Inter having emulated Juve, and kind of, how we replicated what Marotta did at Juve before. They struggle to change course because they repeat the same mistakes. When changing the business models, management or ownership both must be changed. It's like, that's why Milan's project is based heavily on the scouting, Maldini, Massara, cost containment, wages very contained, and their Moncada, who's their head scout, very much analytics based, heavy based on analytics and profile of players, how they buy players. You see a very similar profile, a lot of young, athletic. They look at the athletic profile first, because that should be the important thing in modern football. Athleticism is almost overtaking technical ability now. in modern football, because that's just how the game is, the pace of the game, the intensity of the game. Obviously you still need your technical basics there, but they look at the athletic profile first, almost, the Milan, the way they buy players, and it works. Clearly it works. So that's probably, in terms of, that's why what we did this summer was, so to me, was very confused, because we went, like, we're saving, obviously we don't have money, so we're saving money, but we still went for like slightly expensive free agent like Mkhitaryan, who's earning like 3.5 million net. Yes, we've got the growth decree benefit for his wages and stuff like that, but still quite expensive. Still Dzeko on the books. And then we went for these younger players like Aslani, Belanova, but we haven't actually even integrated them because the profile of our coach isn't that. And then we're still, talking about, being challenging for the Scudetto, but then like the pressure is there, but then we're not allowing these younger players to come through as well, or promoting Primavera players, which also would save money. So it's a bit of a confused approach from Inter at the moment, where they're still trying to have these like bigger name players, but we don't have the financial capability to do it, and the team definitely needs refreshing. Yeah, I mean, at the moment, guys, I wouldn't read too much into, like, I always get frustrated. Everyone's like reading in the international break is the worst time, because the papers are not selling any papers, the websites are not getting any clicks, so they just have to generate lots of content around. And what are the two teams at the moment that would generate most content? Juventus and Inter. So you see Gazzetta, Corriere, they all are going overdrive with Allegri news, Inzaghi news, Skriniar news. The other day when they said, Inzaghi picked Correa over Dybala, like, just nonsense. We couldn't afford Correa because we got Lukaku. The choice was between Dybala and Lukaku. And no concrete offers came for Correa, but they're just trying. They're just anything negative on Inzaghi is just they're gonna pile on top of him. They'll use anything to pile on top of Inzaghi. They know it's easy now. That's the easy way to get the clicks, get the traction. He must be counting days on the wall, like the cross. Yeah, exactly. What's up, Bonnie Show? Maybe we should get speed. Julian, what's up, bro? Yeah, like the stream, guys. I always forget to say, but thank you, everyone that always reminds me. Thank you very much. No, that's true. That is the Marotta. I think definitely Paratici was probably even worse than Marotta in terms of what he did. But yeah, Marotta does do that a lot. But again, it works when you have the money to cover those. Right now, we don't have the money to be spending those high salaries. But that's why we also took an L, like on Vidal, and we had to pay Vidal and Sanchez to go away because we just can't afford it. But it works to a certain extent. And I know even now, though, people are saying that we missed some people are saying maybe we do miss the experience. Like, we all love and talk about Antonio Conte, but then when he wants experienced players, then we moan about those. And now we're saying that maybe we're missing those experienced players. So I think there's a balance there. But yeah, Marotta's definitely some. I think at Inter right now, there needs to be a shift of going away from those big free transfer types of players. I do agree 100% on that. Well, yeah, Ian, thank you very much for bringing it up. I actually had I want to talk about. So we've seen a few interviews from guys away on international duty, and one of them was Denzel, who spoke on Netherlands duty. And the headline is Inter defender: the situation at Inter is annoying. Which needs to be changed ASAP. Maybe the break can help. Oh, I hope so, Denzel. I hope so. So he spoke to the Telegraph, a Dutch paper. So the situation in Inter is annoying. We want to change things as soon as possible. So in this respect, the break for the national teams has been an annoyance, but maybe it can be useful to clear our minds again. I think it's good that there was this break, to be honest. And now this is the point that Ian was talking about. So a little insight from Dumfries. He made where is it? he made sure to show confidence in the team by using an example of a day when he went to report a minor injury and then found out that most of the squad were in the gym on a day off. So this is the story. We have many experienced guys in the group who do everything to get the most out of themselves and their careers, blah, blah, blah. I try to learn that from that every day. But my eyes were really open during a day off last season. I had to report a minor injury to the club for treatment. I went to the weight room and saw 13 players training on their own. And he says, if I had not been injured, I would have never known that so many of my teammates sacrificed their days off to improve and get fitter. But then I told myself that this is how it works, that you always have to work on your body. And I've been doing that ever since. So that's a great little insight from Dumfries that shows, obviously we will say that obviously these guys are multi-millionaires. They should be doing that. But at the end of the day, not everyone does it. That's why there's players that stand out for their professionalism above others. But that was good to hear that, Dumfries went in and there was 13 players there when on a day off, still working out, working on their body, trying to get better, trying to get fitter. I hope that's still the case because this story is from last season. I hope that hasn't died away this season. But that's a great little insight from Dumfries, and I agree. I think the players. Dumfries got an assist for Holland, for the Netherlands the other day. Nice assist. Lautaro scored for Argentina the other day. I think who else? I've seen some other good performance. Brozovic was one of the better players for Croatia in their last match. So I think this international break, I think, is going to do a like a little break away from Inter, maybe get some, stepping away from the issue and then coming back into it might be a bit better. Look, Dzeko scored as well. Thank you, Simple FIFA, for pointing that out. So yeah, I hope so. And then there's a few guys that stayed over the international break as well, like Mkhitaryan was there, Hakan was there, Lukaku is coming back. He's back in training now. I don't think he's still doing full team training yet, but he's getting back into the rhythm of things. Obviously the other guys that don't get called up, like Darmian, Gagliardini, they were all there. So hopefully, even those guys that stayed managed to, get themselves up to a better shape. Di Marco played well as well. Acerbi played very well. Acerbi pocketed Harry Kane, and Di Marco played very well for Italy the other day against England. Did really well against Reece James. And he hit the post as well. So yeah, I think it's been a pretty good international break. And as for now, fingers crossed, touch wood, everything. I haven't heard of a Inter player on international duty getting injured yet. So fingers crossed that remains that. And on the other hand, I've seen a few Barca injuries, which don't really change things to me, to be honest. But I saw that Koundé and Araujo, the Uruguayan, so Jules Koundé for France and Araujo for Uruguay, they have sustained injury, which means they will probably miss both Inter games, which obviously is good news for us. But again, I don't think it makes too much difference, but it does mean that they don't have that as much athleticism in their centre backs going into those games. Definitely Rom is gonna, give us against Udinese. Like, you could just see there's acres of space Udinese were leaving him behind, and we just could not take advantage of it. So hopefully Rom coming back can do that. I don't really. Honestly, guys, I've Raji, thank you for the comment, but I rewatched some games this international break. So I rewatched most of the Udinese game, but not all of it. And then I rewatched Liverpool. I watched Liverpool away from last season. Then I watched the Coppa Italia 3-0 win against Milan from last season. And honestly, I don't see like any tactical. Obviously, like, Inzaghi needs to maybe make some sort of tactical implementation, new ideas and stuff like that. But there's nothing, even against Udinese, there's nothing particularly wrong with the tactics. Like, it's the same Inter, but we're just not there. Like to me, it's just pointing mentally, because the same thing against Liverpool. Like Liverpool away, Perisic didn't have a particularly great game. Like a lot of people point to Perisic not being there being the main reason, but we were just at it. Like we were away at Anfield and we were winning battles. You know, Vidal, Brozovic, Hakan in the middle, winning 50-50s against Fabinho, Thiago, and those guys. Like getting to the ball first. Like these are what I keep seeing in the matches. And to me, that just points to more something like mental, just not being there, like ready to give it all. Like it seems like some people, and maybe they might be right, but some people are saying that it's the hangover from missing the Scudetto last year. It could be, no, guys. Like that, I thought that moment where we saw Lautaro, you know, Di Marco, Ranocchia, like these guys were crying. And, you know, remember the last game of the season against Sampdoria, where Milan won against Sassuolo and they clinched the Scudetto. I thought that moment is, you know, that they would have used that, like, let's go again next season. You know, you saw Barella saying that to Lautaro, that moment where Lautaro was crying. You could see the lip reading. You could see Barella saying, don't worry, bro, next season we'll get them again. But they just haven't started the season like that. The derby, like the fact that I still can't get over this, that the Milan players, guys, they went on the open top bus, and I'm not criticizing the Milan players. Like this is obviously like great, you know, banter or whatever, like, you know, but they sang songs about our players. You know, they said Interista vaffanculo, Hakan Çalhanoğlu, figlio di puttana, these types of stuff, making fun of our Coppa Italia. That picture should have been like, they should have printed out pictures of those celebrations of Milan and put them on the dressing room for the first day of pre-season. It's like they showed them every single day when they walk into the training ground that this cannot happen ever again. But that does not seem like it, because the way we played the derby against them, they seem like they were hungry. They seem like they were the ones that lost the Scudetto last year. They, like, that's why again, to me, Inzaghi right now is a dead man walking. He needs to prove that he hasn't lost the dressing room against Roma, against Barcelona. But I am so disappointed in our players, guys, this season. More than Inzaghi, I am so disappointed in our players. Like, yeah, it just almost seems like we've been overrating these guys almost sometimes. It feels like, especially on the mental side, like you think these guys are the top of the top, but they're not. Like every small detail in matches, guys, is getting to us. Like as soon as we concede a goal, it's just like we don't react positively. We just go down. You know, in the derby, the reaction came after, you know, Dzeko and Mkhitaryan came on. Like they brought on that energy, that thingy. But like, how long did it take these guys to, like, they got punched in the face twice and then they woke up against Udinese? You know, we went 1-0 up, and then as soon as they scored, it's just like the floodgates opened. They just kept conceding. Like it just seems like one little negative episode and that's it. They lose the head. And even Lazio last season, remember when the Di Marco thing happened? Remember we were saying, like, you know, Di Marco, when he was on the floor, they started, you know, beefing, arguing between, and then Lazio won the match 3-1. Like just, whereas Milan, I see them, like, if they get into a beef, especially usually they start it, like Theo will get into a beef, or, you know, Giroud gets into a beef, but they use that like fuel to, like, okay, now the match gets serious, and they like go up another gear after that. Something happens, or like against Napoli, they went 1-0 down, boom, they almost came back straight into it. Yes, I know they lost the game, but the way they reacted to that game, they created more chances. That's what I remember of Inter last season as well. Like we will at least always out create the opposition. We'd like give it a shot, but right now we just seem so flat. Like, yeah, like Barella as well. Like I predicted at the beginning of the season, I thought this is gonna be Barella's best season at Inter, because I thought rested finally. No, you know, he's had a very busy summers recently. He's finally got a full rest. Even in between, he's going to have no World Cup. He's going to be fully rested. But apart from a few flashes, Barella's just nowhere near to be seen. Yeah, he's just not there. And he's like the symbol of our behavior on the pitch, like his bad body language and throwing his arms and stuff like that. Yeah, that's true, Raji. A lot of people treat real sports like video games. Like we just think, it's the same team as last year. Why can't they just go again the same year? But you need refreshing in people, and you need like fresh ideas, or like and the stuff going off the pitch, guys. There's no way that's not affecting Skriniar. Like Skriniar looks nowhere near the Skriniar that I love. Like the guy looks scared to go into 1v1s and like gets burned on 1v1s now. Like he's nowhere near. It's clearly been affected by what's happened over our summer. But again, this now people point to the preseason as well, because a lot of people were concerned about that. But usually pre-season, it was bad, but usually I've seen lots of bad preseason, but then you draw a line. It's like that was preseason, and now we play completely differently. Like, it's happened so many times that we have bad preseasons. Like the preseason thing is just because it's felt like it's just continued on. But I've seen plenty of bad preseasons, guys, where you just preseason you play like 70-80%, but as soon as it's like the season starts, that's it. And of course this is where the coach comes in as well. Again, like he's not an Inter character. We talked about it when we signed him. He doesn't have that personality. He doesn't have charisma. He doesn't, he clearly is a little bit too friendly with the players. By the same time, I keep saying, like, these spoiled ass players, do they need like actually like a head teacher, like a sergeant going at them like Conte all the time? Like, to me, that's just embarrassing. But again, character wise, we knew that Inzaghi wasn't the typical traditionally the Inter coach. And he's proven that, and he's not improved on that. I thought maybe he could improve on that, but he hasn't. Give me a captain that shouts. But yeah, who is everyone shouts in this team? They're all shouting at each other. But at the moment, they seem to be more shouting about, moaning at each other rather than motivating each other. Yeah, no, 100%. But at the same time, that excuse can only be for so long, Ian. Like, this summer he did have a rest, because this summer, there wasn't as much going on, and then he's going to get a rest again in the winter with the World Cup. But there's so many times you can say that. Not just going to shouts, like Vidal goes a long way towards motivating. So yeah, that's the thing. We don't know what goes on the back of the squad. Like, I remember reading articles. Again, I don't know how true these are not, because we don't know what goes on behind the scenes. But they used to say that Kolarov was a big impact. He had a big impact in the dressing room because of his experience, his advice to players. But we don't know, because we don't get to see that. We don't. Yeah, that's why it would be good to see, Amazon behind the scenes documentary of Inter. But like, you can't be. That's what I'm saying, like, a lot of people that love Conte, but then they moan about him signing these players. It's like, if you love Conte, then you have to love all the stuff that he does, because there's a reason why he wanted Vidal over Tonali, or he wanted Kolarov over Kumbulla, because he wants these experienced players. So there must be a reason that he wants these players, because these are the guys that they say, the coaches within the team. Is sometimes the manager can't be micromanaging everything. You need these coaches within the team, almost like, I remember, I think Rio Ferdinand used to say about Man United. He said, like, we used to have Man United used to have, like Roy Keane or Rio Ferdinand himself, Scholes, Rooney, like these guys used to be on top of guys, gigs. Like Sir Alex Ferguson just like oversaw things. He wasn't going individually to each player. It was the dressing room managed itself. Do we have those types of characters within this team? And I thought Skriniar was that guy, but maybe, especially since all the summer stuff has happened, it doesn't look like he is. I think, I don't know, Mattia. Obviously, we don't know. Again, I keep pointing to physically, the team is running for him. We're still covering a lot of ground. To me, that's usually the number one sign. As soon as this Inter team would stop running, I'm saying he's lost the dressing room. But after that Bastoni, Mkhitaryan substitution at halftime, but we haven't seen the team since then, so we'll see now. But to me, that is a moment that he potentially could lose the dressing room, or has lost the dressing room, in my opinion. But we'll see. That's what I'm saying. I think these Roma game, Barcelona games are going to be a sign of that. And apparently, Inter fans, even though we're not doing great, guys, guess what? Almost sold out San Siro. I read the article earlier. San Siro almost sold out for the Roma game and not the two, but the one Barcelona game at home. So even though things are going not well at the moment, the Interisti are still going to be there supporting the team. Yeah, 100%. Amazon missed the trick, man. That Conte title-winning season, what a documentary that would have been. Or even when the Spalletti, the Icardi drama, like how good of that documentary would have been. Yeah, Handanovic should be one of those coaches, definitely. But again, who is one of these guys? We don't really know. Perisic probably was. Ranocchia maybe was. But again, in Milan, obviously, yeah, they have Zlatan, they have Giroud, like these. But of course, there's a young team. Dumfries was the captain for PSV. Skriniar is now the captain for Slovakia. I've seen Brozovic captains Croatia when if Modric is away and stuff like that. Dzeko is the Bosnia captain. Like, there's plenty of leaders within this team. So and one thing actually, out of all the players this season, I think out of all the guys, and to me it was never captain material, but Lautaro to me this season is the one that I'm like, you might be a good sneaky shot for a captain, because this is the guy, Lautaro is the guy that has been stepping up by leading by example, by not moaning and screaming, but by showing, by running his ass off, by pressing, by trying to encourage his teammates. And he's lost a little bit of the hot-headed streak. Well, we've only had 7-8 games this start of the season, but I've not seen that him losing his head this season yet, which was probably the main reason why you wouldn't give Lautaro. But to me, if you think about it, the one out of all the players that has stepped up this season to like a leadership role, to me, is Lautaro. And to me, that's a little bit surprising, because I thought he's still a little bit too hot-headed, still not quite there mentally, I think. But out of all the Barellas, the Brozovic's, the Skriniars, to me, is the one that's actually, I would say, I don't know what you guys think, but I've been impressed with Lautaro in terms of his leadership. Oh yeah, Kimmich rattled him. Yeah, that's true. I forgot about that one. He was rattled. But yeah, that's what he is. But that's what I mean. Still wouldn't probably give it to Lautaro. But I'm saying, out of all the other guys, I've been impressed with Lautaro's leadership, like leading from the front with example. Like, you don't necessarily have to lead with your voice. You can be leading by example. Like I remember reading about Steven Gerrard at Liverpool. Gerrard wasn't necessarily the most vocal. I think they used to say Carragher between the dressing room. It was Carragher that was like the bad guy, in terms of he was the one shouting at players and actually doing the dirty work. But Gerrard was given the role of just leading by example on the pitch. And that's why I don't actually give too much importance. Like, it's a conversation to have, but I've never been too concerned about who the captain is, because to me, he's just the armband, and is the guy who's going to have to do more PR related and interviews and stuff like that. But to me, it shouldn't really matter. You should have 4 or 5 captains within a team. So to me, like, that conversation about the armband is not that. I think people get too thingy about it, because at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter who the captain is. It probably shouldn't be Handanovic, that's the truth, because then at least Inzaghi wouldn't be afraid of actually taking him out of the team. Yeah, exactly, Theodore. You don't need a number for leading the team. Yeah, no, 100%. I'm not saying we should give it to him. I'm just saying, to me, he's just kind of stepped up more than I thought. Like, he's actually a candidate for me. But I still wouldn't give it to Lautaro. We still have a great team and players. The fact that we are in the mode is so frustrating. It is on owners and the coach. No, Mattia. You're not giving the players a free ride on this one. It's definitely on the owners, definitely on the coach, but definitely on the players. I am so we can disagree on that, but I actually blame the players more this season. Like, I'm so disappointed in a lot of these guys. And there's a reason why I never get names on the back of my shirts. I never get the only name I've ever got on the back of my shirt is Ronaldo. And I probably, if I buy it, if I would, I'd probably get a Zanetti, and that's it. Like I just can't relate to most of these guys in terms of like if they're actually really committed to Inter. Yeah, to me, Barella was never a candidate to me, like in terms of age, in terms of how long he's been here anyway. But yeah, and yeah, his character, he doesn't lead by example, and he doesn't lead with vocally either. I think he's just, because he's the Italian future. Maybe in the future he will be, but you know, you see the long-term future with Barella as in the long-term Interista captain. But Barella to me has never been a candidate. Paki, you just have my name. Yeah, that's also good as well. I don't even get my name. I just get, I think sometimes I've got numbers, like I like the number 7 or the number 10, but I don't even get my own name on it. Broza should be captain. I mean, he is the vice captain, as we know, for few seasons now. If Andanovic isn't there, and unless D'Ambrosio isn't there. But again, Brozovic, he's not very good vocally. Like he doesn't inspire confidence. He leads by example sometimes if he's not being, him and Barella are in one of those negative moments where they're just screaming and shouting at others. To me, the obvious one is just Skriniar, to be honest. Yeah, no, 100%. There's obviously still good players, but to me, that's what I'm saying. Like, I just feel like rewatching the matches, to me, there's just that extra, 1%, 2% effort that isn't quite there from these players at the moment. And I don't know whether it's mental or they've given up on Inzaghi, but there's something there. The red card against Madrid made it Clay can't be captain. Yeah. But again, those little moments like that I don't think that is the reason, because everyone can make mistakes. Captains over the years have played many mistakes. Sergio Ramos, how many times was he sent off for Real Madrid? Like, I don't think that's the moment, but it's an overall type of thing. Like, to me, he doesn't inspire confidence, Barella. But again, I think it will be decided by we already know it's decided by the seniority within the team in terms of how long you've been at the club. So Handanovic, and then if D'Ambrosio played same because he's been here since like 2014, then Brozovic, and then it probably would be someone like who's been long here after that. Probably like if De Vrij starts, because he's been here since 2018. Yeah, it would have to be Skriniar, Lautaro. Like, yeah, that's how most teams in Italy do it, by seniority in terms of time spent at a club. I have Ronaldo, Figo, Stankovic, and Zanetti shirts after that, nameless like you. Yeah, that's a great choice of players. Ooh, Stankovic one. That's a good choice, of course, as a Serbian. No, these players are not average, Emil. These players are not average at all. I mean, they've proven it over multiple years, Emil. This bad period here doesn't prove their real level. Their real level, which they've been shown over finishing, when Conte came in, finishing second, one point behind Juve. Then we finished first by, what was it, like 9 points. Then last season finished second by 2 points, winning Coppa Italia and Super Cup. So this is proven over 3 consecutive years, and their national teams, their quality. Barella, Bastoni with Italy, like these are top quality players. Brozovic with Croatia, like these are top class players. It's not average players. Don't let this negative period think that these guys are average players. 100%. Yeah, speaking of Stankovic, just his shadow is looming. 100% is looming. Yeah, but you can't make Lukaku. I think in general, if he actually stuck to his word, I think if he stayed last year and then pushed the move to Chelsea, I think maybe he could have been. But a guy that moves left, right, and center like that can't be captain. In theory, his personality does that, because he's the one that's usually tries to say good things about his teammates and stuff like that, tries to inspire. But a guy that goes left, right, and center, moves left, right, and center, has 10 different favorite clubs. He can't be the captain. Yeah, quickly speaking about, we saw this mentioned Zanetti. He was talking about how happy he is that, he signed Martinez, or he had a heavy, big role in signing Zanetti, in signing Martinez. And then he defended Inzaghi as well. He says the problem of everyone's, not just the coaches. The start of the season was not what we expected, but we see an opportunity behind it. We have to give something more, be more responsible. Nothing is compromised. So he's reiterated his backing of Inzaghi as the vice president. So that's, we don't know actually how much real power Zanetti has at Inter. We've never really known what clearly his role is. Clearly, he had a big role in getting Lautaro, but apart from that, we don't really know what he does. He doesn't really speak in the media too much either. So, he's not at risk, he says. The problem is now we need personality to pull ourselves out of the situation. He said even during the tripleta year, he experienced a similar situation. It's in difficult team moments that a team becomes strong. The team that won the Champions League, precisely because they were in danger of going out in the group stage, I'm convinced of that. It was a sign that there's always a match, an episode that sparks something. But that's the thing. I thought maybe the Torino one was the spark, the last minute win, the spark to reignite the season, and it wasn't. You just go to Udinese and lose. And he also says, Romelu will be fundamental when he comes back. He can be our leader. So yeah, hope he is. Yeah, Lautaro was pretty much, there's a picture out there, I've posted it in the past on Twitter. Lautaro actually signed for, he had a pre-contract with Atletico. There's a picture of him signing something with Atletico, like a pre-contract, and we then managed to sneak in, thanks to Zanetti, thanks to Milito, thanks to Batistuta, and managed to steal Lautaro. And we paid double the price of what Atletico were about to pay. I think Atletico were paying 10, 12 million. Then we came in with 22, 23 million, almost double their offer to secure him. And of course, we're reaping the benefits many years later. Well, yeah, guys, 1 hour, 11 minutes we've been going. Talked about ZHANG, Suning. Hopefully something happens around that. Zanetti, Inzaghi, what's going on. Yeah, hope you enjoyed this Inter News live stream. Let me know if you're watching this afterwards, your comments down below. Thank you for everyone that contributed live stream wise. Basisa, Mattia, Raji, Emil, Ahmad, RDP, Alan, Emil, Paki, RDP, Jun Liu, Theodore, Seeker of Truths, Marcello, Ian Kerr, Mohammed, Frankie, all of you, Anad Singh. I appreciate you all. Make sure you leave a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, guys. Ciao ragazzi, always, Forza Inter.